voluntary workouts underway. This is so important for the tone that will be set with the team going forward. The first time Harbaugh really gets to lead and coach in LA. Here's more from the Chargers head coach today on just how all of this is going as the start to the voluntary offseason is underway.
We just got right into it. We just got right into football, putting the schemes in offensively, defensively, and then the baseline training. So Ben Herbert is huge in this phase one, and when I say baseline training, just finding out where everybody is, where is their baseline, what do they need improvement on, just that here to engage.
So, Marcus, the first day for players at the facility. Obviously, we're a long way till the season starts, but what's most important for them to get accomplished day one?
I think a lot of it is what we just heard Harbaugh say, Boogie, and that's culture, setting the tone for what this team is going to be. I remember when Harbaugh signed, when we found out he was going to be the head coach, and we talked about the Chargers. And think about what we've seen from the Chargers over the past couple of years, losing games late. The physicality has been questioned when we start talking about stopping the run from the defensive line standpoint. Austin Eckler was a bright spot, but they still didn't have that nail and hammer that they wanted to have from an offensive standpoint. So I think just setting the tone and then having Bosa come back and being able to keep Khalil Mack, you got veterans that can kind of move the message along the locker room and while these workouts are happening. And then Harbaugh gets a chance to put his eyes on these guys and see the level of commitment, how these guys are getting to it and preparing in order for this particular phase of the season. You find out a lot about your team at this point, but I think more so they are just installing a culture with the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, no doubt. There's some work that still needs to be done. In fact, the Chargers, $25 million over the cap entering free agency, so they had to make some tough decisions. LA restructured Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, and center Corey Linsley. They traded Keenan Allen to the Bears, cut Mike Williams, and let Austin Eckler and Gerald Everett walk in free agency. They brought in Gus Edwards to replace Eckler, along with tight ends Will Dissly and Hayden Hurst to replace Everett, and also linebacker Denzel Perryman. They're going to look a lot different, but either way, Dan, it's a big draft ahead for the Chargers. They can do a lot of work, make some hay there potentially. Where does their focus need to be to help improve this roster?
I would be shocked if they don't take offensive line.
Yeah.
Shocked. I think that's the easiest or one of the easiest picks in the draft. Everyone continues to talk about wide receiver. I saw Harbaugh with Shefty the other day and some of his life sayings, and one of them that stood out was stop trying to win the fight in the first, stop trying to win all your fights in the first round. They're not going to win this fight taking a wide receiver in the first round. They will add to this run game and protect Justin Herbert. Take your mind back to when he was at Stanford, dominant offensive line. Take your mind back to when he was with the 49ers, dominant offensive line. Take your mind to when he was at Michigan, dominant offensive line. The Chargers don't have that right now. He is playing the long game in LA. I would be absolutely shocked, as good as this wide receiver class is. Marcus just talked about it. Culture, identity. They gave games away. You know what's the easiest way in the NFL to not give games away? Dominate the line of scrimmage. I would be floored if the Chargers did anything but take an offensive lineman.
It's another one of these teams beginning voluntary workouts today. Raheem Morris and the Falcons are planning for Kirk Cousins to be a major upgrade for that offense. He had more passing touchdowns in 8 games for the Vikings than the Falcons quarterbacks had all of the season. Cousins second in the NFL in completion percentage over expectation, according to NFL Next Gen Stats, which means he was completing tough throws, okay? The Falcons quarterbacks ranked 30th in that metric last season. If you think about the upgrade just in that stat alone, we're going from 30th to 2nd. So, Dan, they brought in Cousins, but what else needs to be fixed before the start of next year for this Falcons team?
Yeah, if the Falcons can get a legitimate pass rusher on the edge, they can win this division, and they could be a threat in the playoffs. This offense doesn't have a ton of holes now in Atlanta. They've got a good offensive line, a dynamic back. They could throw the ball downfield with speed and possession. Dallas Turner out of Alabama. Can Arnold Ebiketie, who they took last year, and him be problems on the edges? A Colson at linebacker, can he be that bona fide interior guy? The defensive lineman from Illinois, Newton, can those guys be the pieces for this Atlanta Falcons defense? You know, at the pick, Marcus, Laura, I'd say this, I think it's defense. Now hear me out.
Ooh.
I could understand if this new regime sits there with Kyle Pitts and goes, he can't get healthy, or I don't know if he's going to be.
You saying Bowers?
Correct.
Yeah.
I could see that. I still think it should be defense, though.
Ooh. Go ahead, Swag.
Yeah. Well, I thought about that Brock Bowers as I've started, spent my time off doing a lot of fishing, but I started getting in on these guys and these teams and not only looking at needs, but like what do you want to establish with Kirk Cousins, right? And you bring the quarterback in and conventionally you think about that deal, but I would absolutely go to a pass rusher, bro. Yeah. We see the effectiveness and how fast it can change the trajectory of your defense. Now, my issue is this. Do I take Letu, who I think is more of a hybrid, like Pittsburgh almost uses T.J. Watt, right? Yeah, out of UCLA. I really look at him as a hybrid. He can rush the passer, but I've seen him drop and use footwork. I've seen him work both sides of the edge. But when you look at Dallas Turner, who we showed earlier, and you think about his athleticism, the physicality, his explosion, both of these guys could be beneficial when getting after the passer. But if you want to do more, is it Letu? Because we've seen him do more on the college level and be asked to be a part of a coverage scheme. If you just want a guy to put his hand in the dirt and go forward, Dallas Turner out of Alabama is your draft pick. If that is what you're going to do consistently, line him down and tell him, look, go get the quarterback every time you have an opportunity. So I'll be interested to see what the scheme is and the mentality of this pick. If they choose one of these outside edge rushers, if they want them to be more in that hybrid role, I go Letu out of UCLA. If I got a guy with a hand in his dirt to play physical and get off the edge, it's Dallas Turner out of Alabama.
Yeah, Raheem Morris, who's now their head coach, wasn't this versatile scheme guy with the Rams. It was now he had Aaron Donald, you know, so it was let's make sure that we play that on, you know, so obviously that makes, but Grady Jarrett coming off of injury, I understand he's not AD, but I think Marcus, because that's the benefit of paying Kirk. While it costed a ton of money, you still have that pick. And you now, this is an organization, Marcus, that for almost 10 years now, you've been searching for that edge rusher. And that's why I think, like, at the end of the day, they got to get the guy that they think is going to be more equipped to be that elite edge rusher. Yeah.